So now we will understand budget expenditure, which is one component or part of budget. আমরা বাজেটে দেখলাম না রে, receipt and expenditure statement. What is budget? And statement of receipt and expenditure of a government. Now receipt we have understood, revenue receipt and capital receipt. Now similarly, budget expenditure is of two types. One is called revenue expenditure and another is called capital expenditure. Understand? Now what is revenue expenditure? Please try to understand. In case of revenue receipt and capital receipt, in both the way government is earning, one earning government creating pressure, one earning government does not creating any pressure. Similarly, যখন আমরা expenditure আসি, both these are expenditure of the government, but one expenditure is creating a burden or reducing the asset of the government and another does not. If we talk about revenue expenditure, it is such kind of expenditure which neither creates any burden on the government, please try to understand, which neither creates any burden nor increases the asset. Increases the asset. The word is very important. Revenue expenditure এখানে গভর্নমেন্টে খরচ করছে, বাট এই খরচতে গভর্নমেন্টের উপরে কোনো বার্ডেন হচ্ছে না। কেন হচ্ছে না? আই এম গিভিং এক্সাম্পল। এন্ড এট দ্য সেম টাইম, though it is not creating any burden, but at the same time it is not creating any new asset. There is no asset generation under revenue expenditure. For example, giving salary, giving pension. Pension that to some extent we can skip. Anyway, let's talk about salary, pension, administrative expenses. Administrative expenses, maintaining law and order, etc., etc. Clear? This is revenue expenditure. Let us again repeat the definition. It is neither creating any burden. Government যে স্যালারি গুলো দিচ্ছে মানুষকে, তার এমপ্লয়িকে অ্যাডমিনিস্ট্রেটিভ ল অ্যান্ড অর্ডার মেনটেন করতে যে খরচ করছে, এটা গভর্নমেন্টের উপরে কোনো বার্ডেন না, বাট it is not creating or generating any asset. Now question is, why it is not burden? Because government তার এমপ্লয়িকে যখন স্যালারি দিচ্ছে, and from this employee indirectly government is receiving many things, so it is not a burden. কারণ গভর্নমেন্ট তোর বসিয়ে স্যালারি দিচ্ছে না, যে এমপ্লয়িকে স্যালারি দিচ্ছে ওই এমপ্লয়ি অফিসে গিয়ে দিনরাত্র কাজ করছে and contributing to the GDP of the country, so it is not a burden. But at the same time, revenue expenditure is not helpful in generating any asset. সে কোনো অ্যাসেট বিল্ড আপও করছে না। But if we talk about capital expenditure, you can see the definition. Expenditure refers which either create an asset, সে asset generate করতে পারে, for example construction of roads, construction of any industry, clear, either create or asset or cause a reduction in the liability of the government. Now how the liability reduction can happen? Payment of loan. Payment of loan. Please try to understand. What is capital expenditure? Capital expenditure is such kind of expenditure which may create an asset. গভর্নমেন্টের রাস্তা বানাচ্ছে, ফ্লাইওভার, গভর্নমেন্ট ইজ মেকিং হসপিটালস, গভর্নমেন্ট ইজ মেকিং সেমিকন্ডাক্টর ইন্ডাস্ট্রি. This kind of expenditure is called capital expenditure because it is creating or generating asset for the country, and at the same time it can reduce liability. Government has taken loan and from any other country or any other source, and government is repaying the loan. This is expenditure of the government, but this expenditure is coming under capital expenditure because it is reducing the burden of liability. আমি লোন নিলাম, লোনের ইন্টারেস্ট মান্থলি পে করছি, so it is my expenditure, but this expenditure is another way is helpful because সেই expenditure আমি যখন ইন্টারেস্ট, আমি লোন নিয়ে গাড়ি কিনলাম বা ঘর কিনলাম, আমি মান্থলি ইএমআই দিচ্ছি, that EMI is an expenditure but that is reducing a burden month by month. Are you getting? So such kind of expenditure is called capital. So briefly speaking, আমরা receipt আর expenditure যেভাবে receipt দু ধরনের পাই, the same way expenditure আমাদের দু ধরনের হয়, revenue expenditure and capital expenditure. I will suggest যে তোমরা example এ focus করো which will help you to understand the definition. Revenue expenditure means giving salary, pension, administrative expenditure, maintaining law and order, giving scholarship. Clear? This is revenue expenditure. Now what happens here? Revenue expenditure means it is not creating any burden, and at the same time it is not helpful in generating any asset. But capital expenditure means you are making roads, railways, flyover, industry, many industry, hospital, IIM, IITs. This kind of expenditure is helpful in generating asset. And at the same time, revenue capital expenditure means there is an asset. What I can say, that is, if we pay the payment of loan, that is the liability reduction. তুমি যা লোন নিয়েছো, ভাড়া নিয়েছো, that liability reduction is happening. That is called payment of loan. Understand?